Welcome, my darling pretties, to our Beyond the Dawn of Business podcast for pretty, empowered female entrepreneurs. It's time to step into your power, pretties. Lift each other, support the squad, and choose a life filled with the autonomy and freedom to live your dreams. I'm your host, Dawn Beth, owner and founder of Beyond the Dawn digital business brand and agency. My coffee is hot and my eyelashes are on, so we are ready to go. Hello and welcome to this episode, Seasons of Your Business. I have been wanting to talk about this area of business and life for quite some time now, and this feels like the perfect time to address and focus this area and just have a little chat about what it actually means to be the type of business that has longevity, that has years under its belt and has a little bit of, shall we say, lived in experience, perhaps even the Velveteen Rabbit effect when it comes to business. So we start these businesses and we are so motivated in the ways of how this business is going to change other people's lives, what we're going to do to support people, how we're going to help people, and what that's going to mean for us. And so often we have high hopes for the business, for the clients, for ourselves, for how our lives will change when we get that different kind of joy, the kind of joy that you can only get from personal success. And also financial success. And we think about all of the different things that will be different once we hit that fantastic place where our business is doing really well. And quite often along the way, we are told regularly that doing this as a living is not easy. It's difficult. And that there are roller coaster moments that we have to have resilience and grit and give ourselves the opportunity to be a bit graceful, definitely pile on heaps and heaps of self-compassion, and that these are areas that perhaps don't look completely obvious from the outside when you see successful business people swanning around on fancy holidays and smiling in their brand photography and even talking now happily on their podcasts, right? Like you just think to yourself, okay, well, once you get to that place, you've made it, and that's wonderful. And don't get me wrong, it is really, really wonderful. Wonderful in a way that I'm not even quite sure I can describe in words. When you find a way to earn a living and fulfill your purpose, have fun doing so, and have complete autonomy over your world at the same time. One of the things that I always think is super cute that entrepreneurs say all of the time to me is, Dawn, I'm not employable. I'm no longer employable, which is a sweet way of saying that they've gotten so used to having complete freedom, to having complete control over their own business and career life, that they don't think they could go back into employment under any circumstances, and they certainly don't think that anybody would employ them. Now that they've stretched their wings so far, they would be very difficult to manage, and it would be a completely different situation to when they were, before they were entrepreneurs. The things that sometimes we neglect in our business is the opportunity to see in all things the cycle. So we talk all things womanly health here. I've spoken quite candidly before about how I track the moon cycle and how I track my feminine cycle. And businesses also have a cycle within them as well. Something that I always thought was quite cute was when we started to describe our womanly cycle in seasons. So you would have your spring season where everything is being renewed and everything is born again and it feels really fresh and really wonderful. And then you'd have your summer season, which is fun and comfortable and warm and just this lovely kind of energetic feel about it. And then you'd go into your autumn season, that calm, collective, things are winding down, things are starting to reduce, things are getting a little bit slower. And then you'd have your winter period, and your winter period may be stormy, it might be cold, you might be left outside a little bit, dealing with this stormy weather. But you'd hunker down and you'd hibernate and you'd dig in and you'd get through it, ready for when things would be fresh and renewed again. Now, this can be applied to your feminine cycle. I certainly do that when I'm tracking my cycle, because it reminds me of what I need to do to be compassionate to my needs, my physical, emotional, and mental needs ahead of my cycle. But it's also really important to think about this amazing analogy when it comes to your business. And yes, you may not get a perfect, like with a feminine cycle, you can attribute a season to a week, and those weeks reoccur roughly around once a month. You might not be able to do that if you attribute the seasons to your business, because winters can be a lot longer than a week. They can be a lot longer than a couple of months. Winters can be what feel like forever. However, they are always survivable. They are always just waiting for that first little daffodil of spring to bloom and pop through the icy weather. And this is something that I think lots and lots of business owners don't really think about, because we expect that a business is either very successful or it's not very successful. It's one or the other. It's very clear cut. It's doing well or it's not doing well. The truth of the matter is, much like people, there is far, far more in between those two destinations than you might originally think. So a business could be doing very, very well and have a cash flow problem. Or a business could be completely sat on a cushion of cash but has no opportunity to generate new sales and has no leads coming in, so it will automatically be short-lived. Also, a business has many, many people. So is the success of the business down to whether the people inside it are happy, whether the clients that are around it are happy, or whether things are functioning correctly? Because it's not just about the finances. When something is successful or not, it's very often got much, much more to do with it than just one or two important factors. Now, I want you to think about where you are in your business right now, and maybe give yourself that little seasonal label. I very much right now am in spring, and I'm feeling energetic and I'm feeling hopeful. For me, I have seen the daffodils spring up. I'm excited. The weather is turning for me. It's getting warmer. I can feel the sun on my face, and everything is just open to possibility and opportunity, and that's a really gorgeous place to be. And it might even be my favourite season of all seasons, because it gives you the opportunity to really be grateful for the turn in events that is in your favour, that is hopeful, that is great, and gives you the opportunity to truly enjoy. But for some of you, you may be sat in winter right now, and that's okay. I want you to know that every single business person I've ever encountered, worked with, or coached, all of us at some point hit some winter. I'm not talking about a perpetual winter. If you've been in winter since day one, then there's something wrong. And although we can talk about our emotional state, and we can talk about our mindset, and we can talk about what we can do to make things better in that way, there is a certain element of actually doing practical things, including strategy, and also taking some, action to make things different as well. But every single person, I promise you, has had their version of winter. A lot of the ladies that I coach one-to-one have just been through versions of their winter. And there's nothing harder for me as a coach than watching somebody who has worked so hard, that has built strong foundations, that has done everything right, that is really, truly trying to make a positive difference in this world, go through that difficulty of external factors or personal situations or even just environmental situations that are out of their control turn their business into a winter season. The beautiful thing about working with the women that I work with is that that was not the end. It's very, very easy when you're in that winter to go, okay, this isn't working. I'm going to walk away from this. I've had enough of this. It's too hard. Nothing I do ever works. This is not going to get any better. I'm just going to leave it be where it is. Lots of people would do that, and there'd be lots of merit in doing that. And if something is affecting your health, then you obviously do want to do that. However, these ladies did not do that. These ladies had a look at the landscape of their situation. They recognized that it was a winter period. They accepted, and this is such a big thing, they accepted that things are not going to turn very quickly here. There's going to need to be some really serious things focused on for this to turn back in my favor. And what they did, which is so undervalued and should be done more, is they worked on themselves, the person, on handling the disappointment of that current winter. Then, once they had armed themselves with self-compassion, once they had given themselves an opportunity to work on their mindset, to recognize that this was a temporary season, and although it looks bleak, it feels cold, and it feels like it's never going to end, at some point there will be a spring period and we will come out of this. They hunkered down on the things that really mattered. Certain areas of their business went into what we would consider maintenance mode, which is the lowest level, the lowest hum of productivity, but without new resource, without new investment, without new expectation, which is a massive one. The expectation of result was removed for a little bit. The only result we need to achieve through a winter season is that we still are around, ready for the spring season, that we keep things ticking over so that when that spring season kicks in, there's still a business for all of that opportunity, for all of that possibility. Now, in both of the cases that are coming directly to my mind, these women knew that business is hard and that for the majority of people out there, it's not going to be a long-standing thing. If you have a look on Google, the statistics of businesses surviving after the first year, it drops dramatically, the numbers drop. And then if you look at how long after 5 years, how many businesses are still around after 5 years, it drops again. And the same for any level of longevity. But sometimes the only thing that needs to happen for that business to survive is for you to create a situation where you recognize that this is a temporary situation and that occasionally these types of situations will happen. One of the biggest illusions, especially for online service providers, is that you can go month after month after month with massive launches, massive sales every single month, and then everything is just going to continue like that forevermore. That's not how it works. And also it's not how it should work. There needs to be a processing period. There needs to be a time when you look back and reflect. That's not to say that if you have multi-income streams that you won't always be making money. There's loads of ways to make sure that income is always coming into the business every single month. But please don't expect that every single month is going to be a high sales summer season. You do need to recognize that there are seasons in your business that require different skills, different areas of your focus, and different ways to manage and maintain, so that when you do find a way out of what feels like a perpetual winter, you do have a business there ready to reap the rewards that happen in spring, to reap the rewards that happen in the summers thereafter. So take a minute for me today and figure out where in your business you are at, like what season are you in, and what do you need to do right now to honor that season so that you can make sure that your business survives whatever area you are in. If you're in spring,
then enjoy, because for me personally, I think that's the best one. But all of the possibilities, are you getting yourselves too distracted on all the possibilities and not taking action? Because that's what can happen during business spring. In summer, are you trying to push too many sales? Are you trying to do too much because everything feels so sunny and rosy? In autumn, have you given yourself the opportunity to slow down a little bit and review and take stock and strategize? Are you at the edge of burnout? And in winter, and if you are in winter right now, I send you my love. If you're in winter right now, what can you do to reduce the frostbite? What can you do to survive this arena? What can you do to get through however long you need to get through so that it's spring again? There's always a way if you look for it. I hope whichever season you're in, everything is going well for you. I'm sending massive love to all of you. I'm so excited because in the next few weeks I'll be inviting you to join my free challenge in my free group. If you haven't joined us already, please do, and I'll speak to you next time.
If you're loving our Pretty podcast, come on over to Social Pretties, our online safe house and sisterhood community. It's a safe space where female entrepreneurs connect and thrive in a warm, welcoming fold of pretty amazing women. You'll find an easy redirect in the description, and I can't wait to see you in there. And depending on where you're listening right now, we would love it if you would click subscribe or follow so that you can be the first to know when our new podcasts come out.